My name is Ahmad. Zahra. I'm a council member in the city of Fullerton in North Orange County, California. And I wanted to share with you a little snapshot of the future if we don't do anything that we are now dealing with here in Fullerton because of the irresponsibility in the past. So just bear with me on that. So Fullerton is no stranger to oil wells and dealing with the aftermath of pollution that oil drilling has left behind. Oil drilling was prevalent in North Orange County, in the North Orange County area, and while only remnants of this old industry remain, hundreds of acres of land that could have been preserved, that could be preserved, or even developed into housing, was left polluted. And so it is need of major and costly remedial solutions. Not just Fullerton, but now Brea is dealing with the same thing, our neighboring city, in trying to develop some land as well. The West Coyote Hills, which is over 500 acres of open space in Fullerton that used to be a site for oil drilling, only recently have we began cleanup after decades. We're talking since the 40s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. Decades of millions and millions of dollars in cost. And still we're not there. We haven't been able to develop. We haven't, because it's so costly. We know in Fullerton the impact of irresponsible companies also from our industrial era, when kept unchecked, leaving behind massive industrial pollution long after these industries have gone. Our groundwater in the North Orange County Basin is in fact one of the largest pollution plumes that only now has been finally listed by the EPA as a Superfund site, with remedial costs in the hundreds of millions. This is the water that we drink from. California is now facing an urgent climate and public health crisis. We don't need to talk about this in details because I think we all know what the effects are. We're seeing it. We're living it. We have over 40,000 oil wells currently sitting orphan or idle, leaking methane and volatile organic compounds into the air, water, and the soils that in our communities. If we don't act now, if these are not plugged and properly decommissioned, these idle wells in California will act as a major source of methane gas, as we've heard, as we know, and groundwater contamination and air pollution, and can present physical hazards to people and wildlife. And we have now an opportunity to ensure that oil companies are taking responsibility for cleaning up and capping these wells as quickly as possible before these cleanup issues become too vast, costly for our local communities. And this pollution becomes too prevalent, and not even considering or really analyzing what the health effects are over time. We still don't know this. We've been drinking this water. We've been living around this land for years and years. We don't know the real true impact. I think we definitely also need to ensure that any wells that are still operational have to have a buffer zone. This is just logic. We need to keep those homes and schools and places where children are playing. We need to keep those well away from any kind of active fossil fuel wells. Plugging idle wells and creating buffer zones shouldn't only be seen as a push for creating cleaner communities, but also as an opportunity for economic revitalization and creating tens of thousands of jobs in these local communities. It's an opportunity to create positive partnerships with responsible and forward-thinking companies that will help move us forward into a cleaner future. We must act now and not leave this problem for future generations to deal with. Let us be the generation that took on the climate and environmental challenges, and one that leaves behind a cleaner and prosperous California.